And we've got bananas in chat from Ollie95XZ, Surprise T, Shizuku3158, Madagai, Lauren Pavot, Monkey Ben, Madatraz, Matt, Epic K9, Haley Bailey, Monk, Sizak, and the bananas. Oh, they've gone off the top of the. They've gone off the top of my window, peeps. There's no more bananas for me to read. No, sorry, that's not the way it works. Gee, there's too many bananas for me to read. Y'all are excited for today's stream. Thank you for tuning in. Spidey Wren is here resubscribing between streams. Sniper Rifer resubscribed in the pre-stream. The music, by the way, was Queen, and the song was called A Millionaire's Waltz, I believe. I really like that song. I'm listening to the Day at the Races record, and I'm thinking, overall, this record is like one thing. It's almost better than, like, it does a better job of being a sort of theatric album than the one before, and that's the one with Bohemian Rhapsody on. But I'm still very early in getting into that record, you know. I feel like I'm just sort of worming my way in, and every time that song comes on, I really like it. Yes, Average Martin, 11 months. Thank you ever so much, Average Martin. Normal 71, 2 months in a row. Thank you ever so much. And Unsocial Mank X, subscribe with Amazon Prime. Appreciate the wonderful support as always, peeps. Now, lots of people are going to be asking, what am I doing in this stream? And your job is to tell them in chat. We are going to be making redstone contraptions that can become a part of a bigger game. So I don't have a full picture of how this game is going to work, but I do have ideas, okay? And so I've created a new fresh world, which I actually want to get on a server at some point. Let's actually TP Sumo. I might put some data packs and stuff on this as well, if it would be helpful in any way. Let's mark the... why don't we try and use a new texture? What new texture would be... Hey, it'd be kind of cool. Actually, I'm going to put a campfire here. Right, that marks 0, 0. So just turn around and look for smoke. Now, I also want to just work in the positive, just in case I ever need to use commands. So let's put a redstone block in that one right there. That points us in the positive direction. Cool. Okay, so I have a list of notes, and I'm just going to be working through my ideas. And one of the ones that's very clear in my mind at the moment is using shulker boxes in a very unique and interesting way. And I'm going to require all sorts of things when doing this. So I'm going to need to keep notes using signs, or possibly I could use a lectern and a book. I like the sound of that, actually. Let's get a book and quill. Maybe we'll just write our ideas on the lectern. So, idea number 1 over here. Aha, I can start writing into there. Gonna need an anvil. Gonna need paper. And I'm also going to need... let's see. I will need some other stuff as well. Alrighty then, so, I'm gonna need a chest. Chest's going to be quite important. I'm going to put the chest over here, put the anvil next to it, and we're going to rename this. So, we're going to call this, like, we're making a card game, let me say, a battling card game like Magic the Gathering. I've never really played those games other than the Pokemon one when I was a kid, so I'm kind of, you know, going on my own ideas here. Resting Griffin is here, resubscribing for 21 months. Thank you ever so much for 21 months of support. Truly do appreciate it. And I hope you enjoyed today's stream. DarkWop1977 subscribing with Prime as well. Thank you as always for the tremendous support, peeps. So we're going to call this creature. Actually, let's not get too into it. Card name, possibly stats, something else that can appear there, right? And what I was thinking was cool about this shulker, which I've gone and put in the wrong place, is that we have access to the first 5 lines. So we can do something like health. Let's say it has 10 hit points. Attack. 5. I don't know. I'm making this up as I go along. Defense. Oh, I didn't actually put anything else. 2. Let's say it has a magic rating of some sort. Magic 3. Something else. Description, maybe. Maybe a little description. That's fine. That's all we need. Now, if I put these into here, and then we break this, you'll see when we hover over it, we actually see all of the other stats about it. We got Riff Raff here, with the noises in the ear, doing the cheers, throwing the bits. Riffraff, thank you ever so much for the cheers and bits. I appreciate that support. Pixelated Attacker in chat saying you loved Magic the Gathering all the time and I loved it. Well, for you Magic the Gathering fans, I may need your input at some point, but not straight away. We're kind of like early on here, right? Very early on with our ideas. Actually, I'm going to clone this and use a die rather than recreate the whole thing again. So dies could possibly represent rarity or something like that. Is my other idea. I'm going to need a crafting bench because I'm in this mode. So a crafting bench down here. Yeah, so like possibly we represent like different rarities or whatever over here. Rarity 2. Okay. Now there is a hidden feature here that may be coming into use as well. Fireball X7 Official has resubscribed 3 months. Fireball X7 Official, thank you ever so much for your 3 months of support. I appreciate it. Hope you're enjoying the stream. I can't write on it. Why would that be? Okay, let's take it a step back. So I can write. Can I not write on it when it's in here? Take book. Oh, I thought you could write on it. Oh well. We'll put it there when we're finished making our notes. Okay, so shulkers represents cards / creatures. You know, your, what would be the word for it? Like a chess piece or a character, whatever it is in your game. Can display 6 lines of info. Can have hidden redstone value. Now this is important because no. I'm gonna put that there. That's all the notes I actually need to make at the moment. So the next thing that I want to show you is its hidden value. So let's go and place this down, duplicate it. We're gonna give this one a different die. We're gonna use a comparator with it. Where can I get a die? Let's type in red over here. So we'll chuck in the red die. For all you peeps in chat, by the way, at the moment this is going to be a less chatty, normal type of stream, right? Because I'm basically working out a bunch of ideas that are in my head. Just going to giving you a heads up on what the stream is going to be like, essentially. Okay, so now what we're going to do is put in the minecarts, and we're going to disguise them with paper. So when you look at this, it has 22 more, but you don't know what its value is. So if we place it down and put this behind it, we could possibly use this redstone. Now there is a drawback to doing this, right? I mean, how long does it need to be? I think we made our point. Unfortunately, there is a drawback to doing things this way, and that is that you have to then place it down. You can also open it, which might be a bad thing, but you lose access to looking at that. So that's a feature that we may or may not use. We've got Aprova resubscribing for 16 months in a row. Aprova, thank you ever so much for resubscribing. I appreciate it. Hope you're enjoying the stream. Eep says less chatty in chat. Less chatty between us. There's going to be more stream of consciousness from me. By the way, I've got a hot drink here. It is not a tea. It is my Chinese throat-soothing syrup made into a hot drink. So I had a bit of a tired voice earlier today. I felt like I'd done a live stream middle of the day. So I think I'm going to need to take care of my throat. Okay, so what we want to do is create an experience for the player where they have access to the information relatively easy. I mean, this might not be a downside because maybe the redstone itself is how we interact these things into the world. So maybe you open it up and you still get all the same information, right? I'm picturing this game being not fully automated. I'm picturing it as the redstone being tools for the players to abide by. And I've got loads of them. I've got a whole list of ideas that we're going to work our way through. Yeah, there's so many things here. So, what one should we have a look at next? I'm just reading through my notes. There are other types of thing we can do here as well. Other types of cards that we can make. Yeah, let's look at the command block idea next. Sorry, give. What I've realised is that I don't actually have a lot of alternatives to this first idea. All my other ideas are kind of linked to getting past this first bit. But I do have one lingering in my mind. So this one is going to include a command block of sorts. And this bit might be a little bit tricky for me. Actually, what I'm going to have to do is use an external website now that I think about it. So what we might ask to do on Hermitcraft is, for the sake of a game, be able to add lore to items, right? I think the way they did it, you're allowed to have as much as you can, or as much as you want. Right, we're possibly going to need an item frame. Going to need a chest, which I actually have here. Then we're just going to need an item. Now the cool thing about this is that we can theme things a little better by using the art of the item in question. So let's go with something super duper cool like a nether star, right? I'm actually going to have to use this external website for a second, so forgive me peeps. While I'm doing stuff externally, we have Dr. Y Nerdy Foot. Why have you got a nerdy foot, Doctor? Thank you for resubscribing. 2 months. Appreciate it. Hope you're enjoying the stream and having a good time. We've got Pixelated Attaku here. Resubscribing for 3 months, saying, can't believe it's been 3 months already. That time, it does like to fly, doesn't it? It does like to fly. Right, let me select Neverstar. And there is a selector here for lore. And I can do things like colour, I can do bold, italic. Let's put a couple of in here just to remind me. Let's go with gold. And I think here I can type stat 1. And then do I add? Yeah, line 1 of 1. Okay. That's done wrong. Okay, so I'm just going to make a couple of these and then it'll all make sense. Let's go with green. Right, so now I have something. I'm going to bring it into the world. Okay, here we go. It's going to give me a nether star. There you go. Right. Now, when we put it here, we lose all of that information. So that's just something I want to consider. But another potential way we could create things is by having MBT data on the item. That would require the hermit signing off on us being able to do that, i.e. creating a way for players to add lore, a data pack, a special data pack feature, something like that. I got a feeling this is probably what we should steer away from, right? Should steer away from that. Epic K910 is here, resubscribing for 30 months in a row, saying, I got my wisdom teeth out, so I've been playing in my world, and the hecking stronghold is in the ocean. Oh, I see. What are you going to say? Aching. Like the aching has subsided. Hope you're not in pain, and if you've been given the, what's it called? The stuff that makes your mouth numb, don't drink, okay, don't consume soup with a white t-shirt on, and while you're eating the soup, go, why does my chest feel really hot? Okay, that's something, never did that. What are you on about? I never did something like that. Yeah, thank you so much for 30 months, dude. Incredible. Prodos Vault is here subscribing with Amazon Prime. Thank you. Appreciate it, Prodos Vault. Thank you for using the Prime on me. What game are you making, says Molman Strix. It's going to be a game that involves, like, having a deck of cards and battling against one another. And I kind of want to make it so that getting the cards can be semi-random / semi-doing things on the server, right? Like, maybe we'll make mini games where you can win cards. Do something real fun. So anyway, I'll throw it to you guys in chat now, okay? We'll have an interactive moment here. Before we move on to any other concepts, are there any ways in which you would see players in this game being able to have access to things like this, right? Being able to look at cards, look at statistics, and then put them into the world as one individual thing. I couldn't really think of much else in the game that would do that other than the shulker box. It gives us those 5 lines, those stats. I think the overcoming the hump of realizing that this right here, looking inside of it, might not be the worst thing ever if we need to use the redstone. you know? Books work too, says Juck. Yeah, I had an idea of using the lectern for something later on, but I don't think it would quite work like that. I mean, let's picture it like we've got, you know, you've got your lecterns in a row. Perhaps you can have 5 stationed at once, you versus the other player, and you put your books down. But the thing is, when you do that, you're very limited in what you can physically see with the other player. When you see them put down their shulker boxes, you're still not entirely sure what's going on. Like, should you see the stats is the other thing as well. Rob Sturt is subscribing with Amazon Prime. Rob Sturt, thank you ever so much. I appreciate the support. Oh, Viper Blade there mentioning banners. Yeah, you can put a lot of detail onto a banner, right? So, you know, maybe this shulker box comes with the banner inside of it, and then you plop it up like that, and it gives the other player like a hint of, oh, what creature is this? But like, it doesn't give them access to the stats immediately. I think you might need to see your opponent's stats, and maybe we'll do that with Redstone. I've got some ideas for this. Funky Coaster is resubscribing for 20 months. Funky Coaster, thank you ever so much. I appreciate it. Hope you enjoy the stream. Shizuku says you may use a large data pack to make this work easily. I really want to avoid that, because that's not what we're trying to do on Hermitcraft. We're not trying to bring in a data pack game, because that's like really opening the doors. Peeps are saying barrels. What property does a barrel have that's different? I'm not sure exactly. Instead of naming the paper something like damage 5, just put 5 of damage in there so it shows damage x5. G31 rod, it's sort of two in the same. The problem would probably be that you would want to rename this because you might be using the redstone signal strength, so dealing with multiple items would become sort of problematic. If you look at it there, you know, it does have the X1 on the end, which looks silly, but it makes balancing it a little bit more problematic. Or maybe that's part of how it gets balanced, is another thought. Also, what does it look like when you have just like an unstackable item? Let's put in, what's unstackable? Minecart. Minecart times 1, so you can't get rid of it. Chuckles Johnson is here, resubscribed 15 months in a row, saying, I've been so busy and my schedule hasn't let me catch your streams. Now, it's been 15 months. I subscribed back during Lost Souls. I have not played Lost Souls. You may be confusing me with someone else, but Chuckles Johnson, thank you ever so much for 15 months of support. Appreciate it. Hope you're enjoying the stream. Inford Media says you can use the lectern to give you different outputs. Yeah, that's one of the uses I might use the lectern for, is to just simply be able to have the player set a status of between 1 and 15, right? So, going back to the notes. Okay, I've got this one idea in my mind that I think would be really cool. Uses the composter, so let's go grab the composter, right? Which is always in this one, is it? Or is it in farming? Wait, where is the composter? It's in miscellaneous. Okay, so whole new idea over here, which would be to have the composter and to use one of its random properties, right? So you can put in different types of food. Let's say cake, for example. Well, not cake, actually. I need the wiki open for this. Let me just go grab the wiki page for the composter. And then grab a few values. Okay, so 30% for something like kelp. Oh, well, kelp ain't on there. Seagrass, leaves, beetroot seeds. None of these things are on here. Go grab that. Okay, so that's 30%. Cactus would be 50%. Apples would be 65. I mean, I'm not sure I would use exactly these items, right? 85 for a baked potato. Jacket potato, apparently. And then you have 100% for pumpkin pie. That's the stackable one. Let's get our anvil back out here. And while I remember, so 30, 50, 65. Now I'm forgetting 85. Yep, 85. Is there another category on that page? No. And then 100. Okay, let's chuck them in here. Okay, so the idea is that perhaps let's get a comparator going on over here. So perhaps the player can pick up this stuff as like ammunition, or like it's like a roll of the dice, right? It's like a dice rolling system. We should totally put a one of these next to it, and that can go into the composter. So this module to the player will probably look something like having a hopper. Actually, let's get a dropper as well, because this might be hidden mostly under the ground. So we do that, maybe one higher. So the player would see that, then maybe they wouldn't see this. Composter like so. And then bone meal will get to go into there. And it would create a pulse on its way through. That pulse could probably just backfire to dispense it into lava or something. So there'd be a repeater, there'd be redstone, and then there would be a block somewhere. Okay, so the idea here being, you know, I don't know how this would work. Maybe the player gets to dump in a whole bunch at once. We got noise in the ear from Randy Nicole, 2002. 50 months in a row. Absolutely crazy. Thank you ever so much, Randy. I appreciate it. Unbelievable. We're getting into the 50s now. Goodness me. Goodness me. That is crazy cool. Thank you, Randy. I appreciate it. So, where were we? So yeah, the idea would be that, I don't know in what amount, maybe the player gets one shot at a time. Maybe they can receive potatoes, they can receive kelp, pumpkin, pie, etc. And they get to chuck a whole bunch in here, right? Now, we could potentially also use this at this level to create a redstone signal of some sort. But eventually it's going to fill up all the way, and it's going to produce redstone. So let's go grab those pumpkin pies. And let's just go... Let's say the player gets their hand on 8 of them, right? Ah, interesting. That just locked it. Is it because it needed more of a delay? Oh, right. Let's try that again. Yeah, it needed more of a delay. Now, this signal could have just done 2 hearts of damage to the opponent, right? So this could potentially be some sort of attack or magic or anything system, right? We can take advantage of the composter to give the player an interface of options in the form of these things. Maybe I'd make it a little bit more uniform and pick some things that stick together, rename them, etc. And then they're different types of attack, okay? And it's based around the chance. And once you put 7 of those in, you know, it does 1 damage. Maybe you collect these items as you play. So that could be our damage system right there. It's really tricky to figure out how all this stuff will stick together though. Like, that's why we're just focusing on individual components at the moment. Interesting, very interesting, says the real MTM Jedi. It is, isn't it? I think it's interesting. The Ash Pin Dragon says, can't you overshoot and waste some? I don't think so. Watch what happens when I put in 16. It's still, you know, it'll get there eventually, right? So the idea is we're just taking advantage of a system that gives us the possibility to sort of randomize what's going to happen based on these values. And this gives us, you know, choices for the player. Do they choose these or those ones, etc, etc? When do they want to save up their attack? You know, maybe you get one of these items every round, and then you know, you save up your pumpkin pies when you want to deliver that final blow. I don't know. There's also a little bit of luck involved. I think it's always good to throw luck into a skill game in a small amount. Are you going to make this on Hermitcraft, says Relentless? That is the idea. That is the idea. So anyway, that's our potential... Actually, I'll put it here as a health module. I've been thinking about it since as a damage module. How would it work as a health module? I guess... what was I thinking when I wrote health module? Maybe if you inverted the composting... Yeah, so if you inverted this through some subtracting means or something, then it would also kind of work inversely, right? So rather than this being you doing damage by creating a redstone pulse, it would be the other way around. It would be a player... Right, yeah, okay, so this would give you 6 hit points, and then if the player... Okay, let's actually try and demonstrate what I'm talking about with redstone. So we'll start off with a hopper on the bottom. Let's go a little bit over here. Composter, usual thing at the top, right? So the player that attacks would put items into here, and this would be your health module. So then you would need that on subtract mode, and then a container over here that has items in it. So let's go ahead, and I don't know if I'm even going to get this correct or not, but let's say we chuck in some minecarts, and then we do this. We need some redstone. That's the wrong block. Right, now you would start with 0. That's actually going to make it a real pain in the bum. Maybe not. Who knows? There is a way to do that. It might just be a bit more of a pain. Let's go grab our book and write notes into here for myself later on, okay? Composter gives the player an interface with 5 items to produce a random chance of filling 7 composter levels to produce redstone pulse. May also work inversely for 7 hit points. Let's not sign it actually, just chuck it on there. Yeah. Do it the other way around, the comparator from the composter subtracting one from the other. Oh yeah, I may have put it in the wrong way around. I see what you mean actually, yeah. I thought you meant something else when I was reading that, then it kind of like clicked in my head. I know what you're talking about. So yeah, we put in like those into there, and then you have your redstone signal. So then as... Actually looks kind of close-ish. Maybe one more goes in there. So as you add to this, let's go grab some pumpkin pies, right? So we know that 7 is 1. The player does its attacks, right? And over time, oh look at that, you made 1 point. And then, no wait, I've done it totally the wrong way, actually. Because that's per level. So, okay, let's go put 1 in. That takes you down by 1. So this would be like a 100% hit. You see how it's going down 1 each time? And then when you hit the bottom, it automatically resets, I think. So that might be a huge advantage as well. We might end up using both of these, you never know. I think I prefer this one over here though. I think that'll be simpler to work with in the wrong one. So potential attack and health system right there. Darkerman009 is here, resubscribing for 9 months, saying Unwoven X site, and that is of course a baby face. How did I miss that baby face noise in the ear 4 minutes ago? We've got another baby face here from Babyface, is that what I call it now? Belzebul, resubscribing for 9 months, saying thanks X, no problem, thank you so much. You are now Twitch baby in chat. And I see you there with that Love heart and music note emote. I quite like that one. That's cool. Right. Okay. So what else do I have on here? Quite a lot of ideas that are a bit more intermediate now that I look at it. Okay, so what should we work on next? Let me read through these again. Yeah, okay, actually these are way more intermediate ideas than I realised. So we need a signal strength adder. That'll be something that gets done in here. What about a health system? So it looks like it's quite likely... Okay, we're getting loads of noises in here all of a sudden. We got... Eid GYT resubscribed for 3 months. Thank you ever so much for your 3 months of support. We got Squid Noogie resubscribed for 4 months. Thank you ever so much. And Michael Stickle is here resubscribing for 30 months in a row, saying whoop whoop. Can you say 30 in Dutch? It is dertig. Give it a shot. Did I do any good? Let me know. Thank you so much for 30 months of support, dude. I appreciate that. Hope you're enjoying the stream. Zinthan is here resubscribing for 5 months in a row. Zinthan, thank you ever so much for your 5 months of support. I appreciate that. So, when playing this game, do you think it's important that this is where I need all of your help, all of you who play these sorts of card games. Do you need to see the other player's cards as stats, right? Do you need to see their stats when you're playing, or can they be invisible? Because one of the things I was thinking is that maybe some of this stuff is only known to the player who's playing, right? But then what you could do is place this down and then control it from a different variable. So let's say you've placed it down and we have like a lane. Let's actually go over here for this next bit. So we've got to think about how the player plays this as well. Do I have my sound off? Feels wrong. Yes, you do for strategy. Interesting. Bird poop in your hotbar. So you have a lane like this, right? And you put your thing down, you put your thing down there, and then maybe this lane goes behind the player's playing area, which would actually be... depends how we set this up. Okay, so the first way I'm going to think about setting it up is with a book, right? So we're going to open this book and quill. I forgot that you could do that. This actually isn't going to work, so I'm going to I'm going to click on done now because I just realised that won't work. So we're going to turn it over a few pages. We're going to grab a comparator and go behind it. Now, when we start to put a redstone signal here, this is classic. This is. Let's grab some quartz. There's this old problem. Old problem. How does this work again? Oh, I feel like it's been forever since I've done proper redstone. Does this actually go upwards, or do you do glowstone for that? No, it is this one. Okay, now if you want to create a vertical source of whatever, lamps for example, you have this old problem. So, first one powers the first two. That's usually the big problem, right? But I guess you could space them out like that. Now if you space them out, it means that every 2 redstone equals 1. So you would have to turn the page twice for each hit point of health that you want to display. If you have a game master, there's no need to see the opponent's stats, says Tahumia. Now I don't want this to be a D&D like game. I don't want to introduce something like that. So the question we're trying to pose now is, how do we create a health system that both players can see? And something vertical like this is clean, because from the other side you can see the lane, but it has its drawbacks. So we'd have a limited amount of HP, it would be bulky, we'd also need to interact with this comparator here and there, which means the next comparator would be either there or there, so it makes it kind of wider overall. Sand pushed up, says Redstone Walk. That's interesting. Using a block that could be moved might be a way to make this happen. Hunter, we're not using scoreboards. Oh, do you know what we could do? Oh, wow. Okay, yeah. So this idea, we'll leave it there in case we need to see that later on, right? Like if I need to look back over my ideas and think, oh, actually that was all right. We leave things lying around. So here's an idea. Let's grab. I was initially thinking a cauldron. It doesn't have to be a cauldron, but well, it doesn't have to be a cauldron because it has different redstone signal strengths. Is what I'm thinking. So. This is a good idea, but it poses a lot of redstone challenges. Let's just build a module in line, okay, and you'll see what my idea is. So, we need to put water in there. Ah. Well, that happens. Don't hold down shift. Right. Apparently had a redstone there, I don't know why I did. This is actually going to have the same problem again. Okay, so for a second there I thought it wouldn't. It's actually going to have the same problem again. So if we had a feeder tape here, it'd have to be a tape. Each time this got powered, it would shift this upwards until you reach the next level of the comparator. So the problem there should be pretty obvious. It's the same thing again. Why not use changing colours between green and red with a legend for the different colours, says Winnie. Yeah, we could use visual cues, but they have to be very easily understood for players and redstone interacted. That might be a little bit tricky to work with colours as numbers, right? Just because if we're going to use 10 hit points, then there's 10 different colours, and how do you arrange them? We got a noise in here from Nina Thena, 97, resubscribed for 5 months in a row. Nina Thena, thank you ever so much for your 5 months of support. I appreciate it. Hope you're enjoying the stream and having a good time. Okay, you could use cake to represent 7 HP. We're not so focused on the input. The lectern will give us up to 15 and be very easily configurable by the player. What we're looking at... Oh, I guess, you know, the player could go, oh, you've hit me for 2 points, right? And do that. That's one way this could work. Place a block in between the redstone lamp to make it not light adjacent ones. Sure, I could put a block there. Yeah, but that doesn't change anything. So, what ways can we display health values in this game? Use a row of rotating cauldrons to signal different health values. That would sort of be okay, but we only have 3 on the cauldron. How do we display more? I mean, we've got to think creatively. What other things are there in this game that display information? You could have, for example, well, the redstone line and the redstone lamps is great. It just doesn't stack vertically, which you need to see what's going on with the other player. Put the lamps in horizontally, says Lowe's. Yeah, then you got to think about how much space you're gonna end up taking up as well. But it could work. I mean, it would certainly be easier, right? So if you had lamps like that, you could have your blocks of redstone behind it, redstone line to power it, and then your comparator can be easily interacted with at the end. Now, that would work for an overall health, but I was looking at these things as having individual health. What about having an arrow in an item frame, says Abran Hall. Again, good idea. It's an input. What we're looking at is the output. Like, how do we... We're looking at the display, right? Because we literally will run into the same problem once again. Okay, so, you know, here's our comparator. We can turn it. We can get different signal strengths. But how do we display it? If you power the lamps through the block adjacent, do they still power? Yeah, you can do that, right? But then, now you've got to build a system. Why have I not noticed that before whenever doing this? Hang on. So, if I put the redstone like this... Let's put you there, and then, you know, create a... Oh, why did it jump to 3? 4, 5. Wait, maybe I missed a thing there. 1, 2. Oh, it must have just double spun. So that is, you know, a way, I guess, but you're also then going to need this on either side to stop the redstone interacting. So then it becomes too wide and it looks a little bit odd. So it's still an option. Have a pillar of concrete powder that goes down as the health goes down, says Awesome. That is a superb idea. A superb idea. So, you know, when the player is setting up the game, let's do this with red sand. Don't know why I typed sand instead of concrete. So when the player is setting up the game, what do we do down here? I guess we have like a hopper with a torch to recollect them and be reused for the next game. Oh, can you not put it directly on top of the hopper? No. So, like, we're going to need one more component here. This might be a little bit tricky to time, but it would be possible, I guess. Let's go back here and put a redstone torch for now. Or better yet, let's have that recessed, actually. Yeah, let's recess it by 1 block. Okay, and then if you had your sand, let's have concrete this time. So, I don't know, maybe yellow is the colour we choose. Each time a pulse comes through, possibly from that system we built over there, right? That pulse will make its way over here. Let's just use a button, probably be the best thing. So this should be very hard to do wrong. Yeah, then it just needs to go 1 block down. And I don't have a hopper in my inventory now, great. Okay, so... Oh, wait a minute, it didn't... No, it did do the right thing. So that could represent your hit points of the item that you have out in front of you, something like that. Instead of destroying the sand, you could just move it away, says Redstone Wok. Yeah, we could move it away. We'll do things all at 1 bit at a time for now. Badger Spanner is here, the noise in the ear, saying missing a few months, but oh hi. 7 months though. 7 months is amazing. Thank you ever so much, Badger. I appreciate that. I think I missed one from Thykin as well for 3 months. Thank you ever so much for the support. Appreciate it. Use a sticky piston that pulls one sand back. Oh, then it would be flush, right? Then it would be flush. So, let's say we want to make this flush, actually, after all of that. So we would have all of this, you know, out here. Let's put you there. Okay, I've lost my concrete again. So there's your health. And that's pretty good. I like that's a really nice refinement. Okay, now it could just be that our attacking system is this thing sending a pulse all the way over here. But I still don't know entirely how this is all going to work, right? We're just making components. Like, we haven't designed the base game yet. Just Nexia is here resubscribing for 2 months. Just Nexia, thank you ever so much for your 2 months of support. I appreciate it. Hope you are enjoying the stream and having a good time hanging out with us. Asuma, other than yours, whose base is your favourite in Hermitcraft Season 6? Probably Scars. Probably Scars. And you could use an observer, says Redstone Wok. In what way would we use an observer? Rightio, let me go look at my notes again. So I got the old signal strength adder system, but that'll probably make more sense later on. I think we should start looking at the base game a little bit. Like, let's go back to this first idea, because I think we discussed the players. If we're going to make this game more complicated, the players need to see these statistics. And they could, of course, go and interact and look at, but then they're going to have to keep reminding themselves. So by having the meters filled up behind them to represent the stats of what they're looking at, that's kind of good. X for the concrete powder, you can use green as the main health and have red as a behind health to show lost. Ryan, I think that'll be overcomplicating it, because this already shows what's been... it doesn't show what's been lost, but it shows you what's left. And that's probably what's most important. How will you reset the sand, says Kinku. Okay, so important thing to note with this game is we're creating the tools for the player to play it with. If the player has to, at the beginning of the game, go and do this, that's fine. Like, we're creating all the tools for them to play. I mean, the more we can do for them, the better. So as we get more components together, we can start to see that. Does card give health? No idea yet. Like, no idea. We've got to build, like, I just wanted to start off by making some concepts for this, right? You could use a piston feed tape. Yep, we could. But let's go back towards this beginning bit, right? Like, we've got these cards. They look good when they're like that. You can't see all the information at the same time. Imagine the other players looking at it in the chest as well. I think that's the biggest hump that I probably haven't thought through the best here. Is that you're going to need to display so much more information to the player visibly. I mean, we can use armor stands to put visible cues in the world by renaming them. It gives me an idea, actually. So this is actually only possible with the armor stand book, right? Health 10, something like that. I know it's spelt wrong, but I just want to. So, yeah, you need it to have a name to be displayed, first of all. Which we can actually do, but then it's a serious pain in the bum. That means the player's literally, in order to display it in the world, going to have to name tag stuff. Put snow as the health. Use coloured leather armour. Silver? What would that do? Coloured leather armour for what? We can dye leather armour. What if you name the armour stand before placing? You'd still have to go in here and type it all in. You know. I sort of jumped into that one without fully thinking about it. And then you have to set it up and make it display, so not really doable. Different colours equal different numbers. Yeah, again, though, just imagine yourself, imagine you're playing a game, right, and you need to know, hey look, there's 5 things in front of me. This one's got health 10, defense 2, that one's health 7, defense 1, like, and then it's all in colours. It's just going to be a nightmare to translate. It's possible that the banners could be useful, in a ways. Use different armor on different armor stands to display armor, says the champ. I mean, yeah, that could be useful. If we had a defense system and it was simple, 1 or 2 items maybe. But as much as I love this, this doesn't feel like it's quite suited for what I wanted. Now this is also a card coming out of a deck. So what if this was visible to the player, but not to the other player? but then you take it and you do something with it, right? Like over here, okay? So we've got perhaps hit points is here. You've placed hit points. Let's actually go ahead and build a new module. So maybe we think of this and we decorate it, we make it look more palatable. Let's say we call this a one of our like cards. This is a card. That's what it is. It's not a Pokemon. Okay, but it might end up. The cards might end up having little names of creatures or whatever, like an orc. Okay, so common colours that look good together are red, green, and yellow, like that, I guess. So green would probably be best for health. Right, actually, I think grey for magic might look good. Sorry, defense, armor. And then purple for magic. So let's say we were working with 3 different statistics here. Right, you can have that, maybe as the max, but it's different for each character, right? So maybe you got one that looks like that. We could also put blocks behind here to kind of make it look a little bit more appeasing as well. So for now, let's actually fill in all those spaces. Right, so let's say every creature always has at least one of those stats. So that's now a creature's stat meter right there that the player can configure when they use their card. I'm liking this because everything so far is visible to the other player, which we absolutely want. Oh, why did you place upwards? How very odd. Okay, this will work side by side, I believe. And then it can pull it back and drop it into our hole of death. Should probably use a regular torch for that. Okay, so maybe the stats of the card that you just pulled out from your deck is like this, right? So the other player doesn't see it, but they know what your stats are. And maybe you've got this little control panel area for your creature that you've just placed down. It doesn't have stats on it. Why is that? Let's go pick one out with stats. Okay, we've got a noise in the ear, by the way. Did I miss one here? Just Nexia? If I missed you, I'm ever so sorry. Thank you for your 2 months of support. I appreciate it. We also have Sargates here doing a donation, saying, just use a double-sided piston feed tape outputting into a 7-segment display. You know, I was going to say it doesn't sound so good, but I mean, it's the just bit, okay? Just use a 7-segment display. Assume I don't know how to make one of those, jeez. But if we did make one, it might not be such a bad idea. And now you got me thinking, actually, that having some sort of rotation, like, what if we did have the armor stands, and we could rotate the armor stands and have them display a number? Like, there might be something to that, or being able to swap them around. Sargates, thank you ever so much for the donation, I appreciate it. You give me an idea now. A 7-segment display will be massive, says Doglol. That's another problem. But thinking along those lines, there may be one other thing we can do. So what I'm going to do right now is quickly go to my website, sumovoid.com, plug in the website. I'm just going to go over to Vanilla Tweaks and download the Armor Stands data pack. Yes, download. Sweet. Alright, let's get back to this. There is potential yet. I felt like we hit a little bit of a snag there, but now it's starting to come along again. Okay, so I just got to install this data pack. And then we're good to go. Again, wow, the voice. Let's go Hermitcraft saves. Redstone game, data packs, paste it there. Beautiful, let's reload. Okay, we now have the armor stand book. Oh no, we don't have the book yet, do we? Let's go put the shrine over here. should have a book now. There it is. It gave me 2 because I moved it for a second. Right. 2.4. Does that have the new features in? I think it does. It does. It has some cool features I'm going to show you real soon, actually. Maybe Thursday? Oh, I don't even know when that video is going to go out. Yeah, might have to make it for Thursday. It's Hector is here, subscribing with Amazon Prime. It's Hector, thank you ever so much for your Prime subscription. I appreciate it and hope you're enjoying the stream. So maybe I'll offer up some challenges to all of you, right? Like if you want to come back to me with some redstone ingenuity of your own. Let's, you know, we started out with a little bit of an organised world and quickly it's become rather chaotic. Let's just dwell on this idea for a second and let's take up what am I going to do this with? I've got a couple of ideas in my head. I'm going to put this here as a visual cue as opposed to actually doing something with it. I'm probably not going to do any of this right now either. I can just think of 2 ways this might work. So, why did it just change to grey concrete powder? I don't know. Let's say we actually come back a step. So you go there, 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 and there. Okay, now this is actually not so great for a reason you're about to see, but that's fine. Yeah, health 10, we don't need to rename that. Okay, so armor stand, book. How is it that we're allowed to rename stuff? Display name, yes. Display name, yes. So remember, this is something we have access to on Hermitcraft. So we can indeed use armor stands to display information. So imagine they're all like health. Well, why don't we actually do it like this? You know, health 9. Okay, and then using the pistons, we rotate them in a circle. Or how am I going to do this? Okay, and then maybe move it around like so. So, excuse me. Spelled health wrong. No, this isn't for health. This is for Helaf. You know, the old Helaf when you're making a game. Jeez. Health. What do you think this is? Kinku7 is here subscribing. Thank you, Kinku, for your subscription. I appreciate it. Hope you're enjoying the stream. So anyway, we need a Helaf display. Maybe it involves rotating armor stands, moving them around. If you've got some redstone ideas, and you want to tweet them at me, like we can collaborate on this. The main thing I'll say is it needs to be quite visually keen. Like what you want to see is this, just that, and you don't want to see the other stuff. So maybe it involves moving them around in minecarts, then being hidden underground. You also want to make something that's fairly compact, which makes me think this might not be the best of ideas, but also the armor stand can hold and display things. You can put a block on its head, like perhaps that could be used somehow or manipulated. I'm not sure. Anyway, I think this is a good advancement right here. Like, there's definitely some functionality to this. Can be simply controlled with redstone. We could have hoppers collecting the items and putting them into a chest that the player can pull out after a game again. Pab says, I like the coloured bar meters better. Me too. I think that's a very keen visual image, right? You can easily count these as well, so that would give you 6 hit points in total, 4 armor points. I mean, I don't know how this stuff is going to work overall, but remember, like, this will all be balanced, so maybe you'll have like a mob like that, or whatever you want to call it. Manexboy is here, resubscribing for 30 months, saying, Sup, Asuma, what are you working on? Manexboy, thank you for your 30 months of support, I appreciate that. We are working on a mini-game, a card game inspired by like Magic the Gathering, which even though I don't play those games, I always think they're kind of interesting. I just never really played them. Yeah, so what we're looking at is that the player can pull out a card from their deck that has health, attack, defense. It can have up to 4 things and a description, or 5 things, right? We then need to figure out how this actually, how the player's going to interact with this. Like, what if instead of magic we had generate, and generate allows the players to have a generation score, and that generation score each turn gives them some of these items to use to attack the other player. Maybe they attack different statistics, you know? It's one of the crazy things about doing this game is that there are so many variables yet to be figured out, but each time we even try to start pulling some ideas together, we have to think about how it plays out inside of Minecraft, and that could be very tricky. Is this at all related to Hermitron Go, says Dr. Anvil? It's inspired by how Hermitron Go was brought to Hermitcraft. You know, if that's possible, maybe we can do other things as well, right? Like, it's not the same game, it's different, but yeah, use the different amounts of renamed items in the shulker box, so the tooltip says health. Oh no, we've gone through that before. Well, yeah, that might end up being a thing that we can do, right? Like, yeah, we can get rid of the 1x at the end if we need to. Sure. But there was another bonus here, is that we can hide a redstone value inside of here by using minecarts and additional paper. And you wouldn't be able to see that from this bit here. You would see it once you place it down physically in the world, which I'm starting to think probably isn't going to happen, right? I think these shulker boxes should be your deck of cards. You'll be able to trade these, right? So they'll have rarity colours. Oh, you gotta be kidding me! Minecraft 1.14! I'm playing in my creative world and then this fella comes over. Oh, jeez. You're a derp, you are. You're a derp. Did you know that? Get out of my world, scamp. That's it. You wander off into the distance. Oh, it tells you how long we've been playing in the world for probably about an hour. So, yeah, it tells you how long it takes for one of those to appear. I think we're going to have to go with this being a case of cards that are in your deck. I mean, remember, another thing we can do is we can use a randomizer to give you cards from your deck. So, let's say we limit... Okay, here's another aspect to take on, right? I'm going to come build over here for a moment. Let's just go into this space. So, let's look at deck size and Why can't I... Oh, I just tried to do that like 5 times while I was talking. It's messing my head up. Jamink is here for 37 months. It's an emerald face on the screen and in the chat. Thank you ever so much to Jamink. I appreciate it. Hope you're enjoying what we're doing here. We got Puzzle Freck for 20 months as well. Goodness me. Goodness me, 20 months. Thank you ever so much, peeps. As always, I appreciate it. Hope you're enjoying your time. Yeah, go away, guy. So this would give us a 9-card randomizer. Now, by putting in a hopper at the back, in fact, so there's this process of shuffling, okay? If we have a chest above this, the problem is the order that the cards go into the deck is determined by the order they're put into the chest. So they're not truly randomized. In fact, I don't think they're even going to be randomized. So if you ask the player to put their cards into 4 dispensers, your deck has been increased to a larger size. But you could put all of your dud ones into one, and it would give you a better chance of getting your good cards out of the other ones, right? So what do we need to randomize this? You can physically place the shulker box, which might actually end up being convenient, which is really weird. So if you physically place them and then broke them with pistons, you would need a way to levelly randomize which piston gets activated and not activate the same piston twice. It's kind of weird. Hopper splitter, says Miss. I've just explained this. I'll explain it again. This will not shuffle your deck of cards. Whatever ones you put in first here will go down into the dispenser. Either we have a deck that is exactly 9 cards, or we have a deck that is 18 cards, but you're allowed to split it into halves. Like, we need to think about how we truly randomize something. Beanie says it as well. X, feed the chest and the droplet goes into another. Oh, well, again, still, you're filtering out a little bit of that priority, but again, it's the same thing that's going to happen, right? Pab says loop them back into the chest. It's still... Okay, so no, that's not going... Well, it can a little bit. Right, the problem is we're going to start off, visualize them in here, we're going to start off with them being putting in a particular order. First one to come down, the first 9 are the first 9 to end up here. So then if you shoot it back into the chest, the place it will go by default is into that top row again. So you can only reshuffle it a little bit. We need a far better solution for this. Right, we've got noises in here from Commander Lank, 73, subscribing with Amazon Prime, and Thunderfrout, also the Prime. Thank you ever so much, I appreciate it. Hope you're enjoying the stream. Isn't there a randomizer circuit? It is slightly larger, but it would work already. Pab says loop multiple times. Let's try and think outside the box a little bit here. If we loop multiple times, there will still be remnants of that built in here. Maybe it would be enough to say, okay, it's kind of like you shuffled the deck. You know, even shuffling a pack of cards isn't really shuffling it. Like a lot of magic tricks that involve shuffling the cards, because they don't really get that split up when you give them a shuffle. There's tricks that you can do with that. Virgil Dude says the dispenser will randomize. Again, okay, let me explain it one more time. There's 9 items in here. They will be truly random. But if we feed them more items, or we fill up a chest, they're going to come out in a particular order to go into the dispenser. So the first 9 in here, from the first 9 of the chest, will always be the first 9. So the player putting in their deck, because we're going to let them do deck building, right? Oh, that's a really good point. When we design this game, we need to have like some serious interactivity between different card types. So there's going to need to be like layers of abilities and things. It's going to be complicated. And it starts off by getting something solid going. Dispenser shoot items into a stream above. If we shoot items into a stream, they get picked up by hoppers based on when they were first shot out. So it doesn't eliminate this initial problem. Again, suggestions to drop them as entities into the world and pick them back up again. They will be prioritized by their despawn time, which means, like, imagine you've shot 100 items out of here. They will go back in the same order they came out, right? Dispense all the cards onto a block, remove the block, they fall onto hopper. Should be random, says Sibek. Okay, great example, but it's an example of how it's not random. They will go back in the same order. I mean, I could even suggest, I could show you that, right? Like, let's go grab redstone block. Actually, do I want to grab redstone? I don't think I need to. Wait, what am I trying to do again? Yeah, no, I would. Right, I need that, this, and then 5 items. So we'll do it with less. Armor stand, rail, pumpkin. Actually, it's the order they come out in. Okay, so we have to watch the order they come out in, right? Let's do this with 5 items. Lime, rail, pumpkin pie, torch, armor stand. Lime, rail, pumpkin pie, torch, armor stand. Lime, rail, pumpkin pie, torch, armor stand. Okay, so it can't be randomized that way. Cuplex is here, the noise in the ear. 27 months, saying 27 months already. Feels like yesterday I subbed to you. Keep up the great content, X. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it, Cuplex. Hope you're enjoying the stream. Thank you for your 20 months of support. 27 even. Jeez, we're getting already. How many Twitch babies is that? Isn't it free? Make minecarts going right and left and putting items in. Huh, there's a bit of randomness to that idea that I like, essentially. So now that was an idea I genuinely liked there, that we use a minecart chest to sort of roam around on powered rails. It would still have some of the same flaws, but it could introduce some randomness with its flexibility. Maybe the player could be the randomizer. Like, how would a player shuffle a deck? How would you rearrange items in Minecraft, right? Like, you're going to physically transfer something each time. Maybe if it took it to a random location. You just need to split up the items enough to overcome the initial order given by the hopper. Yeah, I think I've got an idea now. So, let's say we had hoppers like this. Let's say this was our what item are you going to get system. We can create a four-way randomizer to power it. Then let's picture that we got like a water stream going around in a circle here. Like this is where the water is. Okay, and then these hoppers are going to like lock and unlock while things are going around in a circle. So the player puts their chest of shulker boxes and then they all fall in and they like randomize like that. It just feels so over the top though. Like, is there something that would be just a Cuplex? We did that a moment ago. It's not randomized. It will be in the same order. Use a chicken on pressure plates. What? Oh, okay. Another suggestion in chat. Why do I have to explain this over and over again? If I do this, which I think I've explained like too many times to count now. Okay, this is not going to randomize between the two. It is going to take them out in order. It is possible for the player to go, I'm going to put my best items in first to go to this one over here. You see what I mean? But anyway, maybe if we just think that through a little bit more, maybe there is something to that idea. What am I trying to do here? Let's do that and that. Okay, and then this. Now that is probably not going to randomly split things up. It is probably going to divide them in some sort of particular way. So there's a bias down here. Look, this one doesn't pick anything up. The one pointing in the positive does. So these get loaded before that one, you know? Use foxes. If you're going to say use foxes, please explain how a fox would help. Are you thinking it picks up the item? Ethan's Doom says break a chest with all the items in, they should have any priority. When you break them all at once, I believe, again, as we sort of demonstrated a moment ago, it's the same kind of thing. So, let's do it with one. Let's go... green, yellow, orange, and red, like that. No. Okay, that looks sort of satisfying, right? That was poor. That was a poor test. Let's try again. Red, orange, yellow, green. Red, orange, yellow, green. See? I know how these things work. What happened a long time ago is I died and all of my items went into like a corner, but they were arranged in my inventory in a specific color-coded order, and when I picked them back up, they came in back in the same order, and I did a myth-busting episode on it, I believe. Dropper chain with 2 to 3 times more dropper storage than items. I think the way to do it is to say, let's say this is going to be our deck size, right? 18, let's say we go with 27. You're going to play with 27 cards, right? What's the best way we can sort of semi-randomize that? I think locking and unlocking these hoppers would be one way, right? Let's go ahead and create a lock system. How would I want to do that, actually? Lock them using chickens on pressure plates behind them. That's not a very good idea, because the chicken movement is kind of like unpredictable. Why have so many people suggesting chickens? It also requires a player proximity. I think what I need to do is come back a little further. Okay, add some of these type of things. Probably not giving myself enough room there, have I? So we have our clock. Yeah, then that stops. It's not really seeing any. It's kind of alright, isn't it? I mean, this could probably be way better optimized. Yeah, now that one at the end's always on. Like, with a better understanding of the timing here, I'll be able to perhaps come up with something where they equally unpower and power. Anyway, then you could have like a minecart hopper perhaps going back and forth over the top. So there'd be a rail, there'd be a minecart. On top of the rail, there would be your deck. Alright, 27 cards that you put into there. Again, the first 5 are going to go in, and then hopefully they get split up relatively easily. And then you would need another system to randomize into thirds, and then power those dispensers to give the player their next card. What happens if you get an empty dispenser powered, right? That's a bit of bum luck right there, isn't it? Oh god. There's so many things to stumble on in this game, right? Like, let's say we can actually get the deck. So really what we need to do is probably shuffle the deck and move it into a single dispenser. So we need a genuine chest shuffler now. Oh, what a difficult task. Ender says, put the items into a chest, have them dispensed, then put the dispenser items into a chest and have those dispensed. Yeah, so what you're trying to do is slowly randomize out the order, and that would work to some extent, but you're going to find the first thing to go through goes through pretty quick, right? Oh man, that's like a whole system that needs to be built, and we ain't even like anywhere into the game. But if we're gonna, I think we're definitely gonna set on this idea that we have 5 lines or like 6 lines of information to work with, where we say this is what your thing can do, and then from there we can build a whole system of other components around it that require the player to go, okay, you know, my stat is 10 health, I'll put in 10 health and we'll start playing, right? Bit of honor there that they'll do things right, but by looking at you know, the display that we're going to create, you'll see what that card or what that creature or whatever it is we call it has available to it, and of course it's going to be interactive with Redstone in order to change the stats, you know, because we developed the attack system over here using the composter. Apparently Iscal's in chat. Hey Iscal, you'll be interested in this, my friend. In fact, I feel like I could do with some you know, like, what would you call it? Brainstorming? Yeah, brainstorming with an actual player of these types of games. Because what we've come up with is a way to have a card in your deck where you have 6 lines in which to determine its statistics or whatever it is it's going to have. And then we need to make a game where all of those things interact with each other in a really cool and fun way. We got some attack and health systems and randomizers. At the moment, we need to make a deck shuffling system. Like, we literally need to figure out how to shuffle a deck so the player can't put in their best cards first and have a biases or anything. Which is so crazy. It's so crazy. If you place 2 droppers facing into each other, you can shuffle 17 cards easily. 2 droppers facing into each other. So some of you want to see a dispenser loop. That's a possible idea. I mean, the thing with a dispenser loop is going to spend a lot of time going around in a circle in order to truly shuffle it. Ryan says, I think this is going to drive everyone insane. What it needs, like, what I've learnt time and time again with Redstone is, like, a lot of problems that present themselves just need thinking through or need someone else's eyes or ears on it or whatever. Like, if I ask Mumbo, Mumbo's probably got, like, a whole bunch of tricks up his sleeve when it comes to Redstone that he could, you know, oh, you could do this, you could do that. But this is certainly like a challenger, you know, traditional Redstone doesn't come across a lot. Anyway, I've just noticed I got sucked into it and missed Human Pork Rind, resubscribing for 17 months in a row. Human Pork Rind, thank you so much for your support. I appreciate it. Hope you're enjoying the stream. And we also got Sargates here with a donation saying, hey, me again, you could have the RNG calculated, calculated by whatever angle the dropper throws it. Like a far hopper and a short hopper. Like this. Not a good draw. RNG. I think I know what you're talking about. Let me... Oh, goodness me. The program I use does not like you copying from it. Let's see if this works. I'm going to go look at the image you sent me. Thank you so much for the donation, dude. I appreciate it. Let's check it out. So... I'm going there. Oh, what is... Okay, yeah, that's kind of... Yeah. That's probably a really good way. Oh, right. The diagram is a little bit tricky to follow. Let me show all of you what is being suggested here. Okay, so I think the idea is, and bear in mind that the percent chance of this going into one or the other might be really biased towards this one here. But this would be your recycle. So if it shoots out to there, it goes back in here. And if it shoots out further, it goes on to the next one. Right? So it's like a cycling shuffle over and over again. So then you'd have one there and do the same thing again, right? Use a bat on pressure plates. Mumbo made a video about useless features, says Mumbo Great. I mean, just because... Jeez, dude, come on. Just because there's a video about putting bats on a pressure plate doesn't mean it's applicable to what we're doing. Make a square of droppers on which there is a rail with a hopper minecart and the sides of the square are powered by a hopper clock in the centre. If we dispensed upwards... Ooh! Ooh! Brain just ticked over. Brain just ticked over. Ooh. Yeah, okay. How... This is possibly our best shot. Well, actually, this might not even be relevant. Now that I think about it. I just saw a feature here, right, that I... what could I use? Oh, do you know what I could use? I could use that. Let's quickly use this. Okay, so you're thinking, well, what on earth are you... What are you talking about, Wally? Make some sense already. Gonna stand over here, gonna do that. Gonna do this. Sweet, okay. Got an auto dispense system. Let's put in... Now, notice how they've all ended up in different corners or sides, right? Now, that dispenses 8 different ways. So if ever we needed to have 1 input and 8 outputs, which is probably going to be very random, truly random, or at least by the inherent bias at which this decides to spit out items, then that is something right there, is it not? There might also be a slim chance of it staying in the middle. If I throw an item into the middle, it might stay there, but this is going to take them outwards with some projectile, right? And that momentum, I think, moves them off the middle. Look at that, they're going to always end up in 8 places. And it might just be that there is not an equal amount for each one. Like, it might be they're more likely to come to the corners than the sides. I don't know, we'd have to experiment with that greatly. But that could actually be a really cool thing that we could use, right? Some sort of 8 dice, basically. That's like an 8... Oh, look, some landed in the middle, so it's possible for them to be wasted. So it's an 8 dice with the potential for it being entirely wasted, which kind of sucks. Jeez. Anyway, my original idea there was that then you could collect the shulker boxes from around the outside. Now, while thinking that, I thought, well, that doesn't randomize it, but it kind of does, because you can have, like, if it starts at this corner and ends at that one, then if it comes out here, it's going to go around while other ones are getting shot out and going in front of it. So that might actually be a cool system to genuinely do that. Cats in chat says wasn't me. I Love Cats is here gifting a sub to Iskal85 for 30 months. Cats, thank you for gifting the sub to Iskal. Iskal has been delurked. Lots of people were saying that Iskal was here in chat. He might not actually be watching. I don't know, like sometimes I'm on Twitch and I like open something up for a minute and then I go somewhere else and like the stream's been left open. I don't know. Anyway, if Iskal, if you are watching, I think you would be really interested in this project. Would a log of glass pane or iron bar in the middle? Yeah, that might help pop them out to the side actually. Good idea. That is a good idea. Let's try it again. Let's chuck a whole bunch of random stuff in. Oh, spitting it out. Wait, is that making it go in one direction? How weird! Before I did that, I was going to comment on how when you're doing stuff like this, goofing around in a redstone world, you occasionally find things that are really interesting, and literally we just found one. So we can manipulate where that goes to. You could use that as a bonus, right? Like, this could be controlled by a piston and you could determine the outcome for a moment. It looks like it can even get pushed off to the side with all that momentum it gives it. Huh. Very odd. One direction. Anyway, we gotta come up with a deck shuffler, peeps. Or maybe you know, maybe there's gonna be a solution. It's gonna be a pain in the bum. Maybe we don't have to do that today. Anyway, any of the problems you see in this video, if you've got redstone ideas you want to share with me, get at me on Twitter. I'm also gonna put this on a server and invite a couple of friends to join in with these ideas if they want to. X use free droppers that go into free hoppers that will emit one item each. Wait a minute. If we ask the player to split their... Oh my goodness me, why didn't I think of this earlier? If we ask the player themselves to split the deck into something that gets truly randomized, okay, then it doesn't matter. So, look at this right here. Okay, if you've put the items in, it doesn't matter. Well, actually, can you influence it by putting all your best in one or spreading them out? I'm not sure. But if we send randomized signals to each of these three before they're all empty, until they're empty, right? Don't know where the signal's going to come from, but it'll do it until all of these are empty. Then is what goes into this hopper and then into your deck, is that going to be shuffled? I think it would. Also, that could be a block lower. So let's look at the logistics of this, right? Also, this, by the way, could actually support 4 or 5, but the contraption might get a little bit more complicated because you're also going to need comparators here. So we know that we're going to need comparators because when this thing is empty, it's going to stop. And that is actually its empty state right there. So let's go ahead and give it some connecting redstone. Oh, does that interfere? Oh yeah, and you have to do that as well. Just for those two. This one, can you stay the same? In fact, if I do that and put a torch there. Okay, now when that torch is on, that can lock the rest of the thing. So now we've said, oh yeah, it's all empty, stop working. But we'll come back to that. So now we need to power those from up here. So if we did it like power that block, power this block, power that one. How do we create a three-way randomizer to power those blocks? And also, what's the player interface here? They're going to possibly see it from around here and be able to access all those dispensers. Kind of don't want one getting shot up into that space. So the player is going to need to see all the dispensers as well. Maybe there's a door in front of it that they just open. Make a loop of droppers that are constantly activated to shuffle, then take out one with a hopper under another dropper. Four-way randomizer and just void one output. So how do I make a four-way randomizer? Now I need to make a randomizer. I need to think of what we can use to make a randomizer that's fast. And we're not talking a chicken on a pressure plate. We're talking about something fast that works when we turn it on. Torch burnout's a skeleton. I think torch burnout has biases based on what direction it's facing, stuff like that. Two-way randomizer. Again. I know we need a randomizer. What circuit is that? How do we achieve it? There's no point just saying randomizer. We're very aware we need a randomizer. How do we create a randomizer? Like, how do we get a random... Oh, I can think of a way. We'd use a dispenser and a dropper again. Signal strengths, right? Okay, now something's starting to stick out in my head. Okay, so there is like this circuit that you can make. I should really not build with sandstone on sandstone, but whatever. It's fine. So, okay, I can see where we're going now. If we can get 4 different signal strengths out of this... Oh, it'd actually be the thing on top that we interact with. So we do that. That can go up into there. So for now, let me take our items. So we need 4 signal strengths. Then we need something... Wait, isn't there only 3 in this game? That might put a bit of a limit on what we're doing here. Peeps, remind me, is there a way to do this with more? Where's the minecart gone? There's a minecart. So that can give us, you know, 3 different types of output, I believe. Unless... you see? Well, actually, if we just... go all the way back to the original, which is what that one or this one. So that will give us 2. Right, now how do we do this again? It's been a long time since I've had to do something like this. If you've got on that one there, it's all good. So you've got 1 signal there. This will be different, don't worry. Okay. Now if you've only got a button, when it goes up, nothing happens. I've totally forgotten how this works. So maybe it's that one that's the redstone signal. But then something here has got to... Oh, I've totally forgotten how this circuit is. Bottle, sword, button. What's a bottle stacking do? 64? A lot of you are pointing out that I need the hopper here. Yeah, that's... I mean, there's a reason there isn't a hopper there. That's because I'm trying to physically remember and look at what's happening here. What's this part of the circuit? I just can't quite remember how these work. Maybe you need torches on both, and it's something else above it. Hopper has a very different inventory access, Spherolol. Ah, so maybe the hopper can be sensitive to 3 different signals. Well, I was starting to lean towards the idea of having 4 of these, but if we think about how long the game is, you know, it might work with just 2 instead of 3. I think this game is going to end up, you're not going to want to have a lot of cards in your deck. Maybe we should focus on just having 2, which what we're going to build here will still work for, so it's not like we're losing much sleep. Okay, so now we're saying the Ender Pearl only does 1 signal strength. That's kind of unfortunate. So we're still only able to produce 2 types of signal strength. Yeah. Maybe it's... Well, that'll get activated both times. Maybe there's some sort of gate here I'm supposed to make. Like, if I do that, that's always on. Oh, maybe the delays. Wait. When it goes up, it goes on. That's the trick. Up is on. Then you get an output. Okay, I think I got it. Now, if you're going to give me 2, you're also going to give me the first one. So if I only get 1, the pulse that I get here on this side is going to need to be manipulated, I think. So if that's off, this can't be on. Oh, this is not it. There's got to be a way to simplify what I'm doing, right? So if you get 2, that one turns off. Good. This has been on the whole time. If you get 1, you get that. You get 2, you also get that. No. Oh, going back to the basics of Redstone is mad. Some of you are saying to use a comparator now. Target Zero is here, resubscribed for 25 months, saying Tower Bay is amazing. I salute you, sir. Do not let the randomness of being random drive you randomly insane. Sorry. Keep it X, loving the innovation, but please randomize your randomness during the stream. Good day. This Target Zero. I think we're on the randomization path now, you'll see. Cats Are Best has resubscribed for 2 months. Cats Are Best, thank you so much for your 2 months of support. I appreciate it. Hope you're enjoying the stream. Having a good time. A lot of you in chat are now just typing red coder over and over again. Let me have a look. Let's go search the web, images. That's not giving me anything. Wait, let me put a space in there, red coder. This isn't giving me anything, peeps. And now image search won't load. Brilliant. It does that sometimes after a couple of searches. It just stops loading images. Nope, not getting anything for red coder. Don't know what that is. I know this can be simpler, but anyway. So if they both turn on, I think it's like a timing thing. If they both turn on, actually, I don't know what it is. I think we need a torch here. They both turn on, it blinks. We don't want it to blink. I think we're almost onto it now. Maybe I'd no longer need that. Okay, that's interesting. Oh, but now that one's still on. Oh, goodness me. Subtract 2 output from the first for the output. Oh, clever. Yeah. I got ya. So, well, no, because that means that only ever the first one turns on then, right? We have to physically have 2 outputs here. There's no point subtracting it, because then we won't get any information out of it. Look up Minecraft Red Coder. I tried that, I didn't get anything. It was just pictures of redstone and not of circuits. Let's break this down again. We got this one over here sussed out, right? Like, if we goes up to 2, if it comes down, it doesn't. Perfect. So, now we need... Like, we're almost there. It's just... If only that one turns on, we don't interact with that. So it makes no sense. Let's try with a repeater, right? A repeater comes out. See, that is actually doing what we want, but if we do that, it doesn't. Hey! So then I just put a torch as the output, right? Let's this will need to get compacted, but for now, let's just check our outputs here. Okay, and let's simulate randomizing. Let's get something real visual going on. Okay, so we need some lamps. Right. So if we get 1, we get a pulse. If we get 2, we get a pulse. Peeps, I've done it. It's just clearly over-engineered. Right, now let's go put a dropper back over here. Okay, you only have the 1 in. That's fine. So now when I put in the redstone, it should be kind of the same dealio. Let's grab a button. That one. That one again. That one again. Stop giving it that one. Hey-oh. 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 We did it. We did it. Now, can it be compacted? It's got to be simplified, right? What similarities are there? On both cases, we have a repeater getting a signal from this right here and pushing it against this redstone torch that we've got. In fact, they're almost identical in a weird way. They just pull from opposite sides. So if that's getting power, right, if this is getting power from that block, it can also get it from that block. So that is essentially the same. Now it's starting to look a lot smaller, right? So how else can we get that redstone? If I put a block here... No. Oh, of course, yeah. You see, I could put a block over to the side and get the second signal strength, is what I was thinking, above this. But where would the torch go? Or below it? We're going to send you a picture, says Johannes. Twitter. Let's go look at Twitter. Someone sent me it. Everyone's sending me stuff on Twitter now. My Twitter's blowing up! Oh, that's interesting. Not seen it done like that before. That's quite kind of elegant. Is that the smallest way of doing it, though? Let's rebuild this. Right, so what I've been sent... It doesn't look super small. I'm sure there's a really compact way of doing this, but let's build what I've been sent. So... Okay, now we need redstone. Let's change out the lamp. So we do that, we have, let's see, because I'm kind of mirroring this. Okay, and then what was that, piston? That's some quite clever logic going on there. Oh, it would be a sticky piston, wouldn't it? Sticky piston, block, torch. And then did the beginning bit wrong, so that's clever. Okay, button, minecart, and then a button on the side. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that. Alright, anyway, so with that we can create 2 pulses. These 2 pulses, let's actually go with this thing over here, will go into the deck shuffler. So the player has access to what they see right here. We'll change the player's access in a moment, actually. Okay. So maybe this is on the playing field that they see this. This is where they get their next card from, okay? But where they load it up is just over here. So they'll have access to that, and they get to put their deck in there. Right? And then when they're ready... Oh yeah, I'm missing a big step here. We need to create another circuit around here before we get too carried away. We will need blocks like this to stop the items going into the wrong place. That's fine. Actually, we kind of don't need to do that, do we? Let's take it back a step. Like, we can put them straight into the block. Okay, so we have that. Then we have these to power them. And now I'm going to go and redo this. How's this game work, says Cassie the Python. We don't even know yet. We're just building parts of it, right? Like, that's how crazy this whole thing is. We're just building stuff that will be useful for it. Okay, so we'd actually probably want to do it like that because we need to get a signal out of here. Which makes me think, again, this might end up being better built. That needs to be there. Well, let's not try and compact just yet. Okay, we need to do something else here. We need to pull out a comparator signal. Redstone, actually probably better to go straight into repeater. Okay, then that is going to create a signal to go somewhere over in that direction. Again, this is all not going to be compact. Right, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, this is ugly. 13, 14. So, repeater somewhere there. And it comes back over here. Cool. I think I know what I want to use. I want to use sticky piston and observers. So, how are we best going to do this? Let's have that. Oh, actually, is that... Yeah, that might be too much for it. Yeah, it's too much for it. Yikes. Okay, how do we make a slower clock than that? Is the question. I sent you the compact version of the randomizer. Let's go check it out. That does look more compact. I'm not going to build it right now, though, just because we've got to do the next thing. EFO hopper clock. Nah, comparator clock, maybe. Probably just a very simple clock is all we need. Let's go and build it. Right, so did that wrong. Whoa. That's all we need. Or is it too fast? It kind of looks like it's actually just... Yeah, it's just going at the speed it needs to go at, right? Now, the obvious thing is that this is eventually going to turn that clock off. So, it would go into here. Like that. Except back here, I'm going to put a torch. Alright. Now, the other thing that we need is for the player to say... My deck is filled up. I have put items in here. So they put in items. Ooh. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's fine. I got ahead of myself. So somewhere around here you need a latch. It's going to involve pistons. Everything I'm doing here will eventually look a lot cleaner at some point. Let's go ahead and put you facing downwards. So, at the moment that's the wrong way around. So, there's a couple of ways we could do this, really. I can't be bothered to tidy this all up just yet. So, we could have the player come over here and say I'm ready. So, they fill up their deck. Right, and then they say, my deck's filled up, I'm ready to go. Oh yeah, the hopper will take out the items. Huh. Okay, change of plan. How did I not figure that one out earlier? My goodness. Well, what we could actually do is put a chest as an intermediary. How did I not notice that earlier? By the way, did I read it? I'm sure I did. I'm going to read it out just in case. When I haven't had noise in my ear for a while, I get worried that I've just been ignoring them. Cats are best 18. Thank you ever so much for 2 months of support. I think I did read that one out, but I want to, just in case I've been a derp again. Alright, so this is our players get the items from my deck system, right? Oh, why do you keep placing on the wrong block? Okay. So let's do that again. Player puts in their... Ooh, okay, I left that on. That was clever. Let's try it again. Okay, player puts 9 items into here, and they put 9 items into there. Obviously, the shulker boxes that fill everything up. Okay, then they've done that. Shuffle the deck. Now, if this were a button, we could actually have it reset itself, is another thought. So it shuffles the entire deck. And then that's it. When they're both empty, they're empty. So when we have one item in... Oh, it's going to activate. When we have one item in here, that's all it needs to have a signal over here. So what we could also do is throw in... Now, this is a horribly, you know, inelegant circuit at the moment. Hopefully it would make it more elegant later on. What we could also do is throw in... this is getting kind of ugly. Like, once you got all the components in, you can start look at making it smaller, right? So, I'm going to go and put a redstone block here. Because this is the best way that I know at the moment. I kind of needed that to stay on, but it didn't. Now when... Okay, I'm going to do this with a repeater, I think. Going into a piston with a sand block or something. Actually, probably a sticky piston with any old block. Thing is, it's just going to power that there. Compacting comes later, peeps. Compacting comes later. Right, so... Okay, let's do a test. We've got items in here that need to be shuffled. The player now presses a button somewhere. It shuffles the deck. Ah, that works the wrong way around. Ah, jeez. It needs to be the other type. It needs to be... Is it falling edge? So how would I do that? How would I do that? Let's put that there. Put a torch on it. No, not even that works. Actually, it kind of does. It's just... It just doesn't have the right space here, because now that's got to be that. It's so ugly, but... that will then have the power. So ugly, so ugly. Okay, so we got our 2 items in our deck that need to be shuffled. And players are now going to press the button after they put their items in. The randomizer goes, does its thing, and then it's ready to go again. So next time you just press the button. There you go. Can I compact that? Probably a bit. Probably a bit. Right, so there's the whole thing. We got a noise in the ear from... Wait, what? You can't be serious. Thank you ever so much for your subscription. I appreciate it. Hope you are enjoying the stream. I just realised how long we've been streaming for. I've been really getting into this. It's been good. So anyway, once you've got something like this, you can then start to compact. And one of the cool things about compacting is that you can sort of visualize your system and refer to it. So you don't actually have to really build every component of it. I also got a tweet, and I'm going to go check that tweet again actually, because let's get rid of that and that and that. Go to Twitter. Oh, what's this right here? Wow! Hey! Phrygion. That looks very compact. But is that correct, or am I... missing something? That doesn't look right. Oh. Okay. Well, let's quickly build that then. So, comparator. 2 pieces of redstone. Let's flip the picture. 2 repeaters. Is that the right way around? Okay, then, yeah, 2 repeaters. Okay, now there's a sneaky piston somewhere in here. I'm going to guess it's a sticky piston. So let's go back. I guess, yeah, you can kind of tell where it's going to be. Am I doing that right? And then we need lamps. We need lamps. Which are there. So I need my button. Need my minecart. Let's give this a whirl. Hey-oh! 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 Right, well there you go. So compacted again. Okay, now where did that signal go after here? It went into our droppers, so we could pretty... now here's a thing. For the player's interface, you kinda would like it to just be very easy to walk up to and be flat like that. How would we make that translate? Because that block moves, I can't put something on top of it. I guess you'd just have to probably waste a little bit of space, essentially. Right, I got a noise in here and I really need to check it, but you could do that. I'd like to do that without the player being able to really see what's going on here. Is the problem. So I guess if we power them directly, that doesn't work. So this thing gets big quickly, which makes me think maybe I'll take it back a step. Hang on. So there's our outputs. Again, the block's going to be at that height. But if I put redstone dust here, it can stay there. Now, both blocks get powered if we do that. But I don't want it to get powered directly. Actually, I'm really stumbling over my own feet here. Last SNG is here, subscribe with Amazon Prime. Last SNG, thank you ever so much for your Prime subscription, I appreciate that. Hope you're enjoying the stream, having a good time. Thank you for the subscription. Oh, we got the 9 gods here for 40 months in a row saying I've been gone for a week. What have I missed? Not too much. I haven't been able to stream that much over the last 7 days. But today you missed out on a crazy epic Redstone live stream. Yeah, so let's just double check this. If I put... yeah, there we go, paper. If I put items in like that. So if that gets powered... Oh, for some reason I thought that would do both of them. Maybe if it points directly in it would. Okay. So in which case... I wanted to do that then, just like I thought a moment ago. But then this doesn't allow me to make it flush, is kind of my concern. So I could put that there, and then we have this. Okay, so it being flush just makes it a nicer interface for the player. Something like that. Okay, then that would go into a chest. The chest would go into the hoppers. And hey presto, it's level with the ground, which is nice. That can be our players get your next cards, right? And then, you know, climb up top, go into this area to put in all the cards for your deck when you're playing. Okay, so it can be relatively flush so far and seamless. Go in here, fill them up, job done. Now, talking about compacting this, like we're coming back to the same problem, which is that we want the comparators to go in this direction really and come over closer to this. So, can powering this block, I think this quasi powers it. Let's put that there, right, and then, oh. No, it can't be quasi-powered. Oh, I thought those could. So no quasi-powering. And... So what is the alternative? The alternative is, what if those face that direction and the chests are there? That's fine. You can have a block there. You could... Yeah, you don't need... Yeah, that's fine if it's got a hopper underneath it. So now you can get... I mean, you could technically go from that side. But you can't quasi-power this. Listen to chat, the repeater powers both droppers. Oh yeah, it does, doesn't it? Because it goes straight into it. Ah. Okay, that's fine. So maybe something like that one is actually more suitable. See, what I think I want... Oh, if I try and visualize what I want first, it's easier. I think what I want is this. Okay, this is the interface that would work, I believe. And then we just have to get everything else to it. So, oh, will it? That and that need to be powered. I guess you can do this. Why do I always middle click out the thing that I'm kind of using, right? Right, so that is a way to power the droppers and get the signal out of it, have the input come from the direction you want the output to go, which is exactly what we want. So it might be a case of us needing this one instead of the other one, just because of that simplicity there, which would mean, yeah, you see, look, we need a redstone signal here. That's going to be tricky to get figured out. Anyway, I'm sure there's a way. Again, for anyone who wants to help with the compacting and all that sort of stuff, on Twitter is the way. But this is a really nice interface, I think, for the player. So they're going to have their deck card giver there. And then we can put a little stair block on the side to take them up to the next floor, right? So press a button. So you do that. Press the button, get your thing. If you want to set up your deck, come over here and go into this room and put your cards in, right? When you put your cards in, there's going to be a button for you to press and it will get randomized, something like that. So yeah, that's not a bad start to getting this whole thing made a little smoother, but we'll save that for another stream. This is a lot of fun actually, doing the redstone stuff on camera. Hopefully next time though I can get some better redstoners on a server with me, because then we would get things done much smoother. This is where I'm wrapping up the stream, peeps. I really hope you've enjoyed it. It was fun to do something a little different. Hope you're excited for the game. It will not be done in a week. It will take a long time to figure it out, and we're just having fun figuring out some of the mechanics that will help build it up. So before you head out of here, be sure to hit the follow button. I'm also just checking to see who else is streaming. It looks like the Ren Diggity Dog might be playing on the Hermitcraft Higgity server. Had to do that. Yeah, let's go raid the old Ren Dog, peeps. Massive thank you to everyone who subscribed, resubscribed, donated and cheered. As always, I appreciate your support. Thank you to all of my Patreons. If you look in chat, you'll be able to click on the raid button. So be sure to click on that raid button, and let's go raid the Ren Diggity Dog, right? That's it from me. Thank you so much, peeps. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.